Surrounded by assholes.
I would love to watch Spaceballs.
I'm one, you're two. I'm one, you're two.
Perfect. I haven't seen Spaceballs. I was like 11. It was just like my favorite movie.
You haven't seen it since you were 11?
Probably 11. So there's probably so much shit that I would
get bent now.
Yeah, I mean, I got it then, but I think I would like really get it.
Yeah. Okay, I'm one. Hey, everybody. Know Nothings Podcast. I'm Mike.
And I'm Ray. Welcome in episode 64.
64, yeah. So, Ray actually had a really awesome experience, and I'm going to let you talk about it last night.
So, everybody knows about the drones and the orbs that are all over the internet. They're all over social media, and it's fun to talk about. And I've got some theories, and we'll get into that. I kind of want to get your thoughts, obviously, on this. But
do you want to just have me pop the footage up that you took, and you explain it, or what?
Let me preface it first.
Okay.
So I'm driving down I-20. It's about 10:15 at night. No one's really on the interstate. I'm in rural North Louisiana. I'm driving towards Shudrint. All of a sudden, to my right above tree level, I'm talking 110 feet in the air, I just see 100 feet of sparks, maybe more than 100 feet, I'm not kidding, coming out the back of a silver tic-tac shaped, it can't be described as anything we have on Earth, so just say a UAP.
That we've
seen. It's flying to my right. I was like, oh my God, what is that? As soon as I can think, oh my God, what is that? I've got to get this on video, but I'm driving, the whole thing. So I grab my phone, hit video. By the time I do that, it's because it's right on the edge of the interstate when I see it. I'm literally like at first contact, I'm a few hundred feet from it. I mean, it's unbelievable. And when I get my video out, there it is, but it just flies across the sky. I think my video is about 10 or 11 seconds. And then a green orb or something comes into frame in front of the UAP. Now, right there, that green thing. Now, that could be the car. I saw it in real time, but it was so much happening and so much going on with your mind.
Yeah.
And I don't want to misspeak. I know what that was. I know. Yeah. I mean, I don't know what it was, but I know what I saw. And it just went across the sky. And the four cars that were on the road, that one kept going. But as I went further, there were four more, two on that side and two on this side that had pulled over. They obviously saw what I saw. There was no way you couldn't see it. What you see coming out what looks like fire, that is fire. Those are sparks just coming out the back of this thing. 100% not a plane, 100% not a meteor. So from there, I don't know, but the weirdest thing I've ever seen, and obviously everybody's seeing stuff like this. So posted on TikTok. I wish I'd have posted it 3 weeks ago. It probably got 1 million views, but now everybody posted, so it's got like 500.
Yeah. People are saying, I read online that it was a Chinese satellite that broke up, and then flew in and landed in the ocean because people saw this. People saw it like across the entire southern states. People saw it in Arkansas, but you saw it real close up. You saw it, you're saying close, like 200 feet from you, and go across.
Okay, if you're talking, I'm in the right lane of the interstate. You know where a tree line is on the interstate?
Yeah.
About 20 feet from the road?
Yeah.
It is there at tree level.
Oh, wow.
At about 10 feet above tree level. So say, let's give me 40 feet to the right of my truck, 50 to 100 feet in front of me, and right above tree line.
Yeah.
So however close that is, I'm saying 400 feet, 2 football fields.
Yeah, that's crazy.
From the craft to my
right.
And
when you take video of stuff, obviously you took a minute to get your video out, but when you take video, it like shows video way far away,
and it wasn't traveling.
Doesn't look as good.
It wasn't traveling. It still looks pretty cool though.
It looks amazing.
It wasn't traveling at 1,000 miles an hour. I'll say that. It wasn't traveling at 20 miles an hour. Somewhere about 150 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Because it took it the whole. It was so in about the 20 seconds it took me to react. It crossed from the tree line. It crossed all 4 lanes of the interstate. And it was a little bit, it was maybe a couple hundred yards past the interstate when I got it. So, I mean, it's going 100, 150. It is the damnedest, wildest shit I've ever seen.
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
That's awesome that you got footage of it, too. And then I started seeing a lot of people taking footage of it.
Yeah. They got it. I saw it closer than anyone could have possibly seen it.
Right.
Especially the initial to the right. hindsight being 2020, I wish I would have stopped at that moment.
Yeah.
I wish I had just stopped at that moment and turned my camera and got it, but I did. It did take me 15 to 20 seconds to ultimately react. Did you lose your camera?
Yeah, because I'm doing something new. And
every time you do something,
we're just gonna have to. I'm just gonna have to do it.
Well, you want to just stop and we can.
No. I think I can get it fixed real quick.
Okay, we'll just
Ain't no biggie.
do your deal and we'll jump back on. But yeah, so I got my my second UAP experience, because I've talked about my first one before that I had in 1994.
Yeah.
So did
Hold on. Okay, keep talking.
Did I share? I did share that on the podcast when you shared yours, right?
I believe so.
Yeah, it was
You should go ahead and do it again.
So it was daytime, and this is in '94. We were just sitting in my driveway, and my buddy's pickup truck and his tailgate, just hanging out, talking as you did back then. And man, just light in the sky. It looked like the moon, but it was the middle. It was about 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and it started doing what you're seeing the orbs do now, moving around, moving about. So me and my buddy, what is that? What is that? What the hell is that? And all of a sudden, it just the orb just came towards us, and it got bigger and bigger and bigger. It just came towards us till it was almost in the driveway. It looked like it was going to envelop us. It was right here, and then before we could even know what was happening, poof, it was gone. It went at Mach 1,000 and was gone and out of sight, and we were mesmerized. We talked about it at that time, and then we've never spoke of it again.
Really?
Yeah.
Why not? Why haven't you spoke of it again?
It's not somebody I see like on a regular basis, like you or something that I talk to, 100 times a year, or somebody that I text regularly with, or it's a good friend of mine. It's just you lose touch with some people, so we would see each other sporadically, and it's just not something over 30 years that's ever come up. But when I see him again, I think I should be like, do you remember? There's no way you don't remember, right?
Right.
Like, I can't remember a lot from the 90s, but
maybe they were visited by the Men in Black and got flashy thingy.
I don't know. It's very possible. It's not. It's not like it doesn't. If and you say stuff like that. You said stuff like that even when we first started the podcast 2 years ago. When we said stuff like that, it sounds like absolute. It sounds like a manic person, like that's crazy. But now it doesn't even sound crazy.
Right.
Which will go into my theories on all this. If obviously, all right, you give me your take on this shit.
Okay.
What's your obviously
on what you just saw?
No, and I don't want to just on everything going on in the world with the UAPs and drones.
With all this stuff.
Yeah.
Oh man. I think that the drones
are government
in New Jersey are government, and I think they're looking for something.
Why are you just saying New Jersey?
Well, mainly they were in New Jersey. Now they're all over.
Yeah, they're
right?
They're
But just okay. So you asked me, I'm going to tell you.
Yeah.
Okay, so mainly it started in New Jersey.
It did.
There was like 800 drones.
There's 3,000 reported in one day.
Okay.
Yeah, not.
So my intel's a little off.
Yeah.
Drones typically work during, like, you use them during the day, right?
Right.
Unless they have special things on them for like at night,
yeah.
So you can see. I think they're government stuff. I think they're looking for something.
Right.
I think they're looking for signatures of something. One of the things that you've heard on the internet or everywhere is like they're looking for nuclear signature,
right?
Stuff like they lost a nuke or something.
They lost a nuclear reactor, or
something like that, and they're looking for that. But they obviously they know what they are. You can't have stuff in our airspace that comes in from the ocean and then comes in from the
and not get dealt with.
Yeah. Okay. Comes in from the ocean and then goes back out to the ocean after hours and hours and hours, and then they don't know where they're coming from or where they're going. That's BS to me.
Obviously.
100%.
Yeah.
So they know what they're doing. They know what they are. I think that started getting people looking up at the sky. I don't think people look at the sky a lot. I always have. Not since I moved in town here because I can't really see it.
Yeah.
But when I lived in the country, I used to go outside and look at the stars and have a telescope and look up all the time. And you always see things that you don't know what they are, and they're usually explainable.
Not-
but like what you saw is crazy. Is like that's once in a lifetime thing. What you saw.
Well, what about the orbs? What about the orbs coming out and making formations, and all the thousands of orbs that are being spotted, and the drones addressing the orbs? What about, where does that play into the nuclear deal?
Well, if you wanted me to just say off the top of my head, those are probably. That's probably, hey, look at these drones. Oh, now there's these orbs, and they're just projecting those orbs. Project Bluebeam type stuff, where they can project holograms in the air. Mm-hmm. And I think they're just getting everybody to look up for some reason that's coming up here pretty soon.
How do you explain the orb destroying the drone when it came close to it and just dropping it out of the sky like a rock? And how do you explain the small town sheriff sending their drones?
How would I explain that? I can't. I'm only seeing what you're seeing. I have no idea what that's doing.
So what's the theory? And then the small town sheriff sending his drone up. You know about that, right? He was going to see it. Yeah. As soon as he starts his drone, it's immediately disabled.
Yeah.
What about?
Well, my camera was disabled when I saw that triangle craft go over my house in 2009. It was disabled. It never worked ever again.
I know.
So, I mean, they have something that does that.
How do we explain the meeting that Eisenhower had with the aliens?
But did that really happen?
There's like 60 whistleblowers around it. There's documentation unreleased from the CIA. There's a date of September 15th, 2025 plugged to it. It's
hard to believe anything, but like if you were to believe something like that, I mean, there probably has been meetings, and that all that stuff is kept from us. I'm sure there's things flying around up there. There's too many reasons why when you're watching like a live feed of the ISS and something goes and they cut it off. Oh, we lost the feed and all that kind of stuff going on. It's because there's stuff flying around out there they don't want us to know about. Yeah, obviously,
it's too many questions. Like, okay, what about the minister of the Israeli space program going on record saying that Donald Trump met with the Galactic Federation?
Right, I saw that. Yeah.
What?
Well, it's not hard to believe any of this stuff now.
It's never been hard.
He's the one that started Space Force, so he probably was like, "Oh crap, we need to start Space Force because there's an intergalactic, group of people and things and that are flying around."
What about the computer program that predicted What about the computer program in 2009 that predicted Joe Rogan and Donald Trump doing an interview when Donald Trump was running for president, and Joe Rogan on a podcast when in 2009 Joe Rogan was the host of Fear Factor and Donald Trump was a television show? How would this computer program figure out that they were going to do that interview and then say 39 days later and do this 16 years ago and then say 39 days after the Rogan Trump interview there's going to be a galactic sky battle?
Oh my God.
Do you know about that?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We talked about that
last time.
We talked about that last time, but
it actually happened.
Yeah.
Since we did that podcast, what they said would happen 39 days later happened.
Where's the galactic thing?
Well, the December 3rd was going to be the first objects in the sky. I'm just saying, I think the sky battle's coming. I think that's. They've already obviously had some where you had the drone dropping out of the sky.
Right.
It was addressing the orb. You've had these. You've had the one shooting the lasers. You saw that one?
Yeah.
What was it shooting lasers at? So the start of the Sky War is already here, but all it said was 39 days later, which was December 3rd, which was the day that the first one got spotted. It's a little and it happened in 2009 when it makes this projection.
So do you think that we're just living in an already preset matrix that everything's going to happen and the computer just called it?
No, I don't think simulation theory lays out like an exact, because you have free will in it.
Do we?
Yeah.
Do we?
Yeah, I don't
think so.
Well, if you don't have free will, why would we have nuclear bombs?
Well,
if you don't have free will, why would we have?
Well, they had free will to make them.
Why would you have murders if you don't have free will? If you don't have free will, why? I mean, we can absolutely. You could absolutely shift on your mind and decide to do whatever you wanted to do, right?
Well, if that's not free will, you're going to do, maybe it's in your DNA exactly what you're going to do and how you're going to feel, already programmed into your DNA, your entire life story.
I think it's more like with the advancements you see with AI, where they're not pre-programmed. The advancements that we're making now with our AI are not pre-programmed. They learn by being around other humans. So somebody that already addressed this technology, say 100,000 or 500,000 years ago, would obviously be onto astral projections and moving dimension to dimension, and the technology explains how they get here, because our original primitive understanding of this is like, oh well, even if you're traveling at light speed, you have to be, it would take 10 billion years to get from the nearest star system to get here. Well, it never made sense. So that you have to understand that there's like another level of technology that we just don't understand.
Yeah, that our physics don't apply.
Our physics don't apply to it at all. It's more about fifth dimensional thinking, and this is so
touching the stones, and our consciousnesses go into each other, or we shoot our consciousness across 1 billion light years in a second.
Yeah,
things like that.
If you've been looking at this stuff for like 30 years, it doesn't sound wacky. Like it doesn't sound wacky at all to me in my head when I say it, because like
me neither.
Like this is the story, right? Like I'm not saying like this is the facts. I'm saying this is what we all expected. It kind of all plays out like we expect. Now, here's where the government's nefarious. If there were extraterrestrials in our Earth, I think the government was supposed to do disclosure, because the story's always been in 1954 when they had their meeting, disclosure was to come in 70 years. That's 2024. Full disclosure. You're supposed to have a 70-year play out of the movies and TV and books and get people used to, grays and Nordic blondes and small grays and all these things. You get people used to what the different species are going to look like. You get people used to what the spacecrafts are going to look like. You get people to normalize the idea, and there was supposed to be full disclosure by 2024 in the contract and the treaty that we have, the Galactic Federation. They said if you don't do this, we're going to come forth after that, and we're going to show ourselves. So when the government hasn't done what they're supposed to do, surprise, surprise, and they're coming to show themselves, the government's going to have to pretend like there's a sky battle that they know they can't win, but they'll take one last time to try to control. I think it's a way you can globalize the world, create new world order through chaos, just like they tried to do with COVID. You can lock people down and you can tax everything to death, and you can raise the debt ceiling one last time, try to swipe as much money as you can, because you would say, we've got to have all this money to fight these aliens that are invading, but they're not invading. They're coming to help us. But it's our demon politicians that perpetrate the sky war, and they keep us prisoner, or try to. So you have to be able to understand, if there is a sky war, it's bullshit. If the government's saying it's a lie. And here's what also I think, to go further down the rabbit hole, I also think that they thought, this is how we'll play this, and we'll have 4 more years in office and be in control of everything. We'll have control of the media. We'll have control of social media. We'll have control of the government, because they had no way, with everything that they had plotted against Donald Trump, did they ever foresee a path. Let's not even talk about the assassinations, but just the lying and the characters and everything we know, and the FBI, the 26 FBI agents being there for Gen 6. I think they thought they would have 4 more years to perpetrate this. Right. Now they can't. Now they have to hurry it up. So that they're either going to fake an alien invasion, and that'll be the government. And in that one, you would see like fake religious figures. You would see like hologram Jesus, hologram Allah, hologram Buddha in India, whatever the prevailing religion is. You would see these hologram creatures. You'd see all these fights, but it's all the governments, all the various governments around the world.
And is that Project Bluebeam?
That would be Project Bluebeam. Now, my own personal theory, my own personal theory follows everything that we've been told since I've been looking at this since the 90s, that they had a 70-year disclosure. They didn't disclose. They didn't do what they were supposed to do. They tried to slow play it, but they did. When it was time to accelerate the knowledge, they didn't give it to us. They didn't give us the technology they were supposed to give us, because we're supposed to have access to this technology too. Not all of it, but the technology that we could handle at this moment with where our ascension is. Mm-hmm. And they didn't give that to us, and now they're pissed. And the government's they know they can't win the sky war. If it's actual aliens, if it's a real thing, if it's not a total government bullshit, either way, either one of those scenarios, one is where there are real aliens and the government is bullshit, faking a war. The other one is there are no aliens have never existed. It's all the government. So either way, from the government side, it's a fugazi, it's dust in the wind, pixie dust. So that's kind of where I'm at on it. Like, I know either way who I'm not listening to. Mm-hmm. If it's the aliens, I need them to come get me because I know that I'm with them. Like I understand what's fixing to happen. Like I'm going to get to go to New Earth. Yeah. They're going to eradicate old Earth. The people will stay here in 3-dimensional Earth, but we move to a different dimension, which is the 5th dimension, and we go to that Earth. So
everyone gets a Lambo, New Earth.
I think everyone gets everything. It's not about Lambos anymore, right? You know the deal. Like I don't have to explain it to you.
Look, I've got to have point counterpoint. Yeah. I get it, and I'm with you on all that. But I got to throw out there: am I going to get a Lambo on New Earth?
You would.
Oh, great. Well, I want to.
Everything in abundance on New Earth. But there'd be plenty of people that would not be ready for full disclosure, and they would stay in 3-dimensional Earth on this.
Is Gibson Guitars going to New Earth? Because I still haven't. I've gotten the one Gibson, but I still want the custom.
I would think.
I want the custom. I want the Black Beauty custom.
If I'm being real, I would think everybody affiliated with the arts would probably ascend for the most part.
Yeah.
Everybody that's already capable of 5D thinking, everybody that's already capable of being creative, everybody that's already capable of understanding there's more that exists.
Do you think they're leaving the reptilians here? Is that what's happening? Because they're the ones that probably own Earth?
Well, we're the ascendants. We'd be the ascendants of the Anunnaki, right? Mm-hmm. So the Anunnaki bred with the humans that were on Earth then to create the hybrid species, which is us. Mm-hmm. So the only reason someone would have to stay here would be to toil and work or get more minerals or do whatever. So the lizards, I don't even know if they're an actual species. I think that's more sci-fi than the 8 verified species that they say there are.
No, I think the reptilians are one of them. The reptilians are they're shape-shifting reptilians.
Yeah, I don't
That's
think
one of the main ones.
I think they would all, and then some of them, many of them have already been here forever.
Well, they've been here. The reptilians have been here forever.
The reptilians are here. The Nordic blondes are here, right? They walk among you. So they say.
Yeah.
The Nordic blondes, you can't really tell. You'd have to look deep in their eyes to know. I can't say I 100% believe all this, but I at least 65% believe all this to be true at some point.
Yeah.
I don't.
I've been dabbling in this since 2009.
Yeah.
So like I've gone like full circle on a lot of this stuff and come back around to and the thoughts I've had about all of these things, and I've read like with the reptilian thing, I've read a lot of those books by certain people and
clearly some politicians and actors are reptilians, right? Like
of course, but probably most of them.
Yeah. To say they're not, to me, it's
to have Billy Corgan say that he saw someone shapeshift twice in front of him, and were they famous? Yes, but he won't say who it was. He said that on the Howard Stern show.
Yeah.
So it exists.
For sure.
Billy Corgan doesn't need to say things like that for fame or whatever. He probably shouldn't have said that.
Yeah.
Because he's who he is.
Even just saying what I'm saying, all I'm doing is explaining things that people that look at this stuff already know. And I'm not saying that it's true or it's not true. I'm just explaining it to the audience.
Well, all of this stuff has gotten really prevalent because of TikTok. Like, people, except I didn't go on TikTok and say all this stuff that I already knew all this stuff. But I didn't go on TikTok and say it because I'm not that into TikTok, social media, and all that stuff. I don't like it. So,
but we're going to grow our presence.
But there's more. Yeah, but that's fine to do it like this. But I'm not going on TikTok. I'm like, hey, everybody, the reptilian race. Watch this video of this lady's face changing on the news in Los Angeles, because that's one of the main ones. But
you can tell. You can tell when somebody just got into it because they just start making videos about the thing they just found out about. But it's like a whole big. It's like a whole big story that
right.
I mean that.
Well, it's a whole reality thing. Our whole reality is in question. Like. We live in a reality where we get up, we go to work, and then we come home, and then we have family. We get up, we go to work, we come home, we pay taxes, and we go on our vacation every year. But that's something that they have laid in place for us since we were born. Go to school, go to college, or if you can, do this, do that, get a job, work, pay taxes. That's basically the reality that they try to push you into, because they make you go to school and they teach you those things.
What else would you do on a prison planet?
Nothing.
You would do. You would teach.
You would
train the slaves.
You indoctrinate everybody into the culture, and the people that don't like to go along with the culture, you make prisons for those people.
Yeah.
So that's real prisons where you lock them up inside the prison. See, the biggest prison we live in is the prison where you can't see the bars, and that's what you're saying, the prison planet.
Correct.
The fact that we're on a globe and we can run around the globe as much as we want, but we can't leave. I almost, it's all set up that way.
Yeah, of course.
So you think like that. So you think, well, I can go to Antarctica, but I can't, go into Antarctica, but I can go see the wall, and then I got to come home. I can't go beyond that.
Yeah.
Because there's probably stuff beyond it that they don't want to know.
Of course there probably is, which doesn't mean the Earth is flat.
Right.
But it just means
it could mean the Earth is bigger than what they say it is what I believe.
And it could be they say there's whole cities and civilizations under the ground.
Right.
And now they say there's a portal that they found in Antarctica. You heard about that,
Oh,
right?
yeah. Oh, yeah. And in the North Pole, too. There's two. And the North Pole, I just read the North Pole has moved, which it does move over thousands of years. The pole, like the magnetic pole, moves off center like this. Yeah. So it's moved a pretty big ways now. So it's moving again.
Yeah, and you're also programmed to anybody that's questioning their immediate reality. Everyone is taught and socialized to make that person seem crazy, right? So anybody that's thinking on about any kind of different level about anything is made to think crazy. It's got to be like, here's your football games, here's your MMA fights, here's your politics. We're talking about bathrooms. Here's this. It's all this shit. It's just the arena, right?
Right.
It's just the arena in the Roman Empire. Like that's what it is. And look, and I'm a sports guy, whatever, but you have to and I'm a music guy, but you have to compartmentalize this stuff, that some of this stuff is there to keep your attention away from ever opening your eyes and looking around. And when you open your eyes and look around, there's a lot of shit that we don't know, we don't explain. And everything that we do know is just what somebody told you. It's his story.
Right.
It's his story. Yeah, that's it.
I always think, too, because whenever they say, look at this, look at this, look at this, you should look at something else. But with the drones in the sky and all this stuff, they're all saying, look up here, look up here, look up here right now. Everybody look for these drones. Look to the skies, because I think you're right. Something's about to happen in the sky that they're going to do. They want everybody looking up right now for some reason. That's
what makes me lean. If I'm picking a direction, I lean to the government's involved, and there are aliens, but the government will still be lying their ass off. But they're not. There's no way they can do it now. Now they've only got like 35 days, because Trump's going to go in and be like, all right, somebody tell me the bullshit going on with the drones. And if it's something to do with America, he'll just be like, look, we know what the drones are. We're not going to discuss it with y'all. Everybody's safe. Go back to your deal. I really believe that. Because I don't think Trump being in office was ever part of any of the government's plan.
I don't think so either. I think they tried to kill him, so yeah, it was not the plan. They did not want this to happen, they knew it was going to happen.
And now it's happening, so it's like, oh my God, we have to go so fast. And they're not, in my opinion, the government, especially the whole thing is falling. The whole Hollywood politicians. Did you hear about Coca-Cola? 2 Coca-Cola trucks full in the back of children, trafficking children.
Are you serious? And from where? Where'd they catch them?
This was in America. I didn't see what city. It was a citizen reporter on X I saw. But Coca-Cola trucks full of these kids, because it's all. I'm not going to start naming companies unless something actually happened like that. But this starts. I'll name one company. Okay. All this starts with the Catholic Church,
right?
And then you have the Rothschilds, and then you have princes and royalty under, and there's an umbrella. There's layers to this game. You have the princes and royalties, and then you have music moguls, and then you have your entertainers who are big and popular. Do you see how this? Then you have your A-list actors. There's this flow down here. The people we think are popular, or the people you think have this control, or Diddy or somebody oh look. He's a pawn in a much larger game, and all these massive corporations, and they'll start naming them at some point. It's all going to come out. 2024 is the year of the truth, and 2025, everything gets revealed. But all of these billion-dollar, not all of them, a ton of these big, huge, multi-billion-dollar corporations, a ton of these CEOs, a ton of these politicians and actors and singers and dancers, and all these people are involved in a global cabal to traffic children.
Right.
It's now it's so the veil is like completely lifted on that deal, and yeah, but Coca-Cola, I mean, obviously they're going to probably try to pin it on the truck driver or whatever they're going to do.
But couldn't they have just stolen some Coca-Cola trucks and had that happen? Or are they shipping them into the Coca-Cola plants?
That makes perfect sense.
Because you wouldn't think Coca-Cola truck would be full of kids.
That would make perfect sense.
Alexa, stop.
That would make perfect sense if there wasn't this huge, giant, obvious takeover of the world of these rich and powerful people doing all these nefarious things on Epstein Island and with Diddy and in general. That would make perfect sense a year and a half ago.
Right.
But in 2024, at the end of 2024, it makes way more sense to say, well, would a major company be involved in child trafficking? It makes way more sense to me to go, probably. But I'm sure if that video goes up, I'm sure they'll ban it. But I'm not the one who took a video of kids getting out of a Coca-Cola truck. Right. And it just so happened to be 2 Coca-Cola trucks. And there was also in different cities.
Oh.
Like the plot thickens.
Oh, okay.
There's 2 different.
What about Dr. Pepper? Are they cool?
Dr. Pepper's probably cool.
Okay.
I don't want to say that I don't want to right now say Coca-Cola is not cool. I just want to say what did happen, and I want to say that
I try not to drink any of that anyway.
I want to say that I think the world is getting hip to what's going on. Yeah. Maybe slowly, maybe not as fast as I would like. I think it really is some wicked shit going on out there. It really is.
I think so too. I think that's back to part of my reality that we live in. They give us so much work to do and things to worry about that we can't think about those things.
You can't even.
And then, like you said, if you think Coca-Cola doing that, no, man, I drink Coca-Cola every day. The commercials with the kids and the Santa Claus and all that, nah, man, no way. Because you look at like what the most absurd thing would be, and then that's probably it.
Would Bill Gates, the CEO and chairman of Microsoft, he wouldn't take 32 trips to Epstein Island. That would just be that would be completely ridiculous. But now, is it really ridiculous? Because it kind of looks like what happened. And you know that Bill Gates has had, I think, 20-something meetings trying to lobby Congress for them not to release the Epstein files. Now,
why Bill Gates lobbied for that? Is that what you just said?
Bill Gates.
Sorry, I was getting us beers.
Bill Gates is currently actively lobbying for them and paying them millions of dollars to please never release the Epstein files.
Well, yeah, because he's on there.
He's 32 times, Mike, is the rumor. It's a rumor. Nothing's confirmed yet.
Allegedly.
The same guy that brought you the jab that you just had to have as he's invested.
Not me.
As he's invested $100 million in Pfizer. That demon would probably never do that. Bill Gates is totally on your side trying to tell you not to eat meat. You should eat processed meat because cow farts are going to be the end of the earth. So we need to find a way to have less
Makes
cows.
A lot of sense to me, those damn cow farters.
Well, what makes a lot of sense is the guy coming on saying, I'm going to... It's saying you should eat synthesized meat. It's far better for you than real meat. That's absurd.
They have no idea what eating synthesized meat does to you.
Just
like they had no idea what the jab would do to you. I'm not eating synthesized meat.
I mean, I might eat some every once in a while, but I watched him try to say that was like the path to get less cows because of the cow farts and like that's just, man, some of this shit they're trying to sell us is just really hard to buy.
It sounds really ridiculous to me. The more ridiculous it sounds. Everything's getting kind of ridiculous.
It has been for like 20 years, right? But now it seems like it's on it's a fast track to hell.
I don't know. Maybe that's why the aliens are showing up. And they're like, we got to get you all out of here before.
Well, no, they'd be showing up because of the nuclear weapons.
Nuclear war. We're going to just completely obliterate the Earth.
I think they're just, and I think they just shut, the aliens would just shut that stuff off.
Mm-hmm.
And they've had, 4 nuclear launch places where their systems just get shut down?
Yeah.
Like
they always see UFO activity around their nuclear sites. All that stuff.
Only 100% of the time.
Yeah, 100%.
Hey, but we're all crazy. But guess it's really funny. Everybody that's crazy, the past, 3-4 years, every single crazy person has been way more right than every single sane person. That's all I see. I don't want to, I have to watch myself to not just fall on, just to be like,
Your brain fall out. Yeah, be so open-minded that your brain falls out.
Yeah. That's definitely not.
I always like keep a foot on the reality they want us to believe. Keep a foot there.
Well, there is a base reality, right? There has. I mean, there is a base reality that exists. Like here's what's crazy. It makes you feel like everything's bad and evil, and it's not. Right? There's a ton of great people in the world. And there's more good. There's more of us than them. We outnumber them probably 100,000 to 1. Just they just have control of everything. But like now it's so great. Like no one listens to the media at all anymore. They've completely lost the narrative. I've never seen anything like it. It's the most fascinating. Like
except for the older folks, they're clinging on.
Yeah, but
they're clinging on.
I was watching this guy. I was watching somebody interviewing this guy in New York City, and he was like, he's like, what do you think about who do you think was elected president? And he was like, Donald Trump was elected president. And he's like, so you don't think it was Elon Musk elected president? And he's like, no, it's just Trump. And he goes, well, you must not be hearing what everybody else is hearing. And he's like, what are you talking about? And he's like, I got it right here, man. He goes, you want to see the sources? And he pulls up his phone and he's like, look, it's being reported on ABC, CBS. He just goes CNN. He's just going down, and the guy lets him finish. He's like, what are you talking about? He's like, nobody listens to that. He goes, who? He goes, this is in New York City too. A black dude in New York City. He's like, what do you? He goes, those are your sources. He goes, nobody listens to anything they say. He said, they said those. He said, what are you talking about? He goes, you know that nobody listens to that shit. He said, we're the media now. He's like, what are you talking about? He's like, and that guy was just flustered because he was trying to get him in this gotcha. Like,
I've noticed a lot of like Elon Musk bad talk, and I love Elon Musk. I liked him before all this and all that. I've always liked him.
He's one of the reasons I voted. He's one of the reasons I voted for Trump because I didn't like Trump.
Yeah. Well, I just, you see a lot of slam pieces now on him when I scroll through my my internet news feeds. There's just everything's a slam piece on Elon. He's being looked at by the Department of Justice, this, that, and the other. This guy, I think they've already looked into him pretty hard because he owns SpaceX. He shoots stuff into space, and the Department of
it wouldn't even bother me if I didn't know. Like, it's not like I think this. If I didn't know for a fact that if he had supported Kamala Harris, everything he did, they would be printing on all these stations. Yeah. They'd be talking. And it's the bias is so gross and so obvious. Mm-hmm. They would be talking about how brilliant he is. Oh, yeah. That anybody didn't listen to him. They're a fool, and he's just trying to do what's right.
Thank God he's on Kamala's team. She's gonna be able to pick up a phone and call Elon and be like, Elon, what's up? And he's gonna give her advice. But it's completely opposite now.
Yeah, and he's not taking any money. And now look,
what a saint!
I get the disdain for billionaires, right? Like nobody has to feel sorry for billionaires. So I get that there's like going to be some level of hate for a guy worth $429 billion, like especially when the whole world is struggling, right? Like it's going to be hard for billionaires to get tons of love, but they're never going to get too much. They're never going to get too much love. But everything he's doing seems to be for the good of humanity, right? And if we're wrong, I guess it would show up in a big way.
I guess it'll be one day. It'll be like, oh, I guess Elon was Dr. Evil.
He was the Antichrist.
He's Dr. Evil.
Yeah. $1 billion.
I still think Bill Gates is Dr. Evil. He's the one trying to get you to take shots and eat fake meat and all that stuff. That seems like worse.
Now why do they always applaud everything he does and any influence he has? Or George Soros, who's backed the Democratic Party for 100 years? None of them have ever had an issue with George Soros' influence over politics. Yeah. None of them ever had an issue for anything George Soros. And George Soros would pay for anything to get the Democrats elected. Yeah. Any kind of ads they needed, riots, whatever.
Bussing people into places.
Put bricks out for the riots, right? Mm-hmm. And they never said none of these media outlets said one word about an obvious demon. But somebody who just says, well, these are some like good things I want to do. And it's common sense and everybody likes it and everybody agrees with it. And then the same people, they demonize him. Why do they not think we would ever? I mean, I've been like this. I don't want to say smart enough. That's arrogant, but I've been aware that I haven't listened to him for 30 years, 25 years. I've never trusted anybody. But I mean, younger, I'm borderline anarchist as far as my political beliefs. I need and really that I just don't need them in my life. Less government is better. I've been waiting my whole life for somebody to say we're going to do less government. We're going to get all the corruption out. We're going to clean stuff up. Like we're going to not have war. I don't know. Like it just seems
all the good stuff, all the stuff that should be happening.
We talked about it last time, so I don't want to hammer on it. But yeah.
Well, it's okay.
And what I will hammer on because we didn't talk about it last time is that. Just be consistent. If you're going to always complain, if you're going to complain about Elon helping Trump for free and having a voice, which the president is free to counsel with anybody who wants to, right? Then you have to just show me or be consistent. I need to see one report in the past 25 years where you were negative about George Soros or about Bill Gates. Right. So a guy that takes 32 trips to Epstein Island, a guy that does this vaccine scam, y'all are cool with him. But a guy that says, I think we should just trim government up. He's the Antichrist.
Yeah, he's awful because he wants to do some things that are actually good.
I don't even understand what the counter argument is.
I don't either. Let me try to do counter argument.
You do the counter argument.
Okay, let me try to do counter argument. Okay, say something about Elon.
So, what I'd like to do is go look at all these departments and where they're wasting a ton of money. I would like to save that money and give it back to the U.S. taxpayers.
How much is this going to cost us?
Nothing.
Well,
I'm going to do it for free, and I'm going to get other geniuses. I'm going to hire them. I'm hiring a whole department.
Who's paying these guys?
They're all going to work for free because we all want to trim the budget and help America.
Okay, well, look, there's a lot of programs that we have going that support lots of people and give them a paycheck. You're just going to throw them out on the streets?
No, not at all. We want to be humane about it. So when we are gonna cut a ton of jobs because there's just a ton of unnecessary jobs. We'll give them like a 2-year severance, but they got to go, man. We got to clean it up. We got to get more efficient. It just
listen. My uncle runs a intramural office softball team that gets money from the government, a couple $1 million.
He's not getting it anymore.
That he runs. He runs it, and so you're saying he's not gonna? He does it in his spare time, and he makes an extra $60,000 a year. He's not gonna get that anymore.
Nope.
On top of his lawyer job,
it's gone. I know.
But that's okay. Well, he's okay.
Yeah.
All right. I guess he'll just have to rely on his $500,000 a year.
So that's the only counterpoint you can make is if I say, hey, I'd like to cut the government and trim it
There's got to be real counterpoints, right?
The counterpoints are no one should have $429 billion.
Right.
You can't trust. You're going to trust it. We're becoming an oligarch. We're an oligarch. It's all billionaires.
I like how they say like the exact opposite of what it really is and try to make you be like. Make you feel stupid if you don't agree with them when what they're saying is stupid.
What they really like to believe in their fantasy is that they're like the uneducated right doesn't even know what an oligarch is. They're too stupid to even see that it's happening in front of their face. They're too stupid to figure anything out. They're just going to get what they voted for, and it's going to be terrible. Fuck off.
Oh man, I still got to work.
It's so fun. It's so fun to watch the.
I have a hard time watching it. I just kind of live in my own bubble.
Yeah,
I like guitar. I just do my job and I look at guitar stuff all day long on YouTube.
What was that list we were going to talk about? What was that? I
don't know.
Was that you sent it to me on text? Was it like the top 50 guitarists or was it singers?
That's too many. What? Let me look real quick. What did I say? I should write this stuff down. We shoot by the hip on here.
Shoot from the hip.
We shoot from the hip. Let me scroll through our 50 conversations last night about your UAP experience.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to go back in our text thread because I'll be like, I'm gonna go see. When did Mike send me that 2 weeks ago? And it's like 1,000.
We talked about XRP.
Which is still maintaining at about that 220 level. Still a great time to buy.
Still a good time to buy. It's gonna go up to 4 pretty soon, even more.
Oh, even more at some point. But it's just I say just keep buying XRP to the end of time. Just like Bitcoin. Just buy Bitcoin and XRP. Don't even think about it. Just get $25, $50, $100 and buy it. Get $25, $50, $100, buy it again. If you can't find it,
Loudwire.
Yeah.
Best rock song from each year since 1970.
Oh yeah, I'd love to do that. We're going to look at the list, or we're going to create our own.
We're going to
list?
look at the list.
First we should say what we think the best song is from Each
I
year.
don't even know from each year.
Oh, yeah, I do.
Well, that's good for you.
You don't know. You know, some of the year, I bet you know more years than you think. Although it gets really hard, you're talking about 54 years, right? Like,
Yeah.
that's a lot to make sure you, like, because sometimes
How do I name a song in 1970?
Paranoid. Stairway to Heaven.
Hold on, let me find this.
War Pigs.
God, I wish I didn't integrate.
Didn't the Beatles write A Day in the Life in 1970?
I don't know the years.
You should. I don't know why you should. I don't know why it's important. I don't know why I know. I bet I missed some of those. I bet some of those were like 69 or 71.
How about from 1070?
Oh, the best song in 1070? That was Flarkin' Malarkin.
Best song from 1070 was a flute.
Did they have a flute in 1070?
Probably.
Maybe.
A reed?
Yeah.
It was like, ooh, 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 ooh. Maybe not even that. Maybe just a ooh.
Just get a limb and hollow it out.
Here
Best
it
rock song each year since 1970.
Yeah.
Well, 1970, the best rock song was War Pigs.
Okay, so like I'm gonna turn this on right here. Bam. And then we got this going on.
Yeah, well, let's go through see if we agree with their list.
Okay.
You don't have to hit them all. You can just hit.
We can
probably go through it pretty fast, actually. But
I don't know. It depends on how it's written.
see if I'm going to be right for 1970. I said War Pigs. They're giving it to Black Sabbath.
Black Sabbath.
And yeah, what's also in 1970 in 1 year, Black Sabbath released Black Sabbath, and Black Sabbath Paranoid.
Oh, jeez.
The same year. Oh,
okay.
And then the next one, who else?
Black Sabbath. Sweetly.
All right. Makes sense. Making sense to me so far.
Yeah.
Let's make a lot of.
This is Loudwire. Oh, 72.
Black Sabbath.
Supernaut.
Frank Zappa said the greatest song.
Huh. Oh, 73.
Black Sabbath. All right, 74.
Who wrote this?
It looks like I wrote it.
You wrote it. You wrote this. Do you write for Loudwire?
74 is going to be somebody. Is going to be Deep Purple.
You got it, man. You got it. Deep Purple.
75 is going to be Rainbow.
Oh, how do you? Are you seeing this?
No, I just know.
Are you seeing this?
76 is going to be Thin Lizzy.
Judas Priest.
All right. Victim of Changes.
77.
Oh gosh, 77 is going to be hard. I'm going to say Thin Lizzy. They got to come with them sometime in that.
Scorpions.
I forgot they're that old.
I love it. You nailed it.
I got like 3 in a row, right?
Okay. Oh, you already saw it. Judas Priest, 78.
Hellbent for Leather. Yeah.
Okay, so 79 is the year I was born. So I'm gonna say, I don't even know. Michael Jackson. No,
it's only hard rock or metal.
Oh yeah.
This list. So I'm gonna say, let's go. Let me guess what year. What year? Give me the year.
79, the year I was born.
79. I'm gonna go. Motorhead, Born to Lose.
Motorhead, Overkill.
Okay. 1980. Can I guess the next one?
Yeah, you saw it, didn't you?
No, I didn't. I swear.
Okay, go
1980. Ahead. I'm gonna go Ozzy Osbourne, Crazy Train.
Ozzy Osbourne, Crazy Train.
Let me go to the next one.
All right.
1981. I'm gonna go Ozzy Osbourne, Diary of a Madman.
Iron Maiden.
Wrathchild. I'll take that. That's fair.
82.
Oh, that's going to be Ozzy Osbourne, Diary of a Madman.
Iron Maiden.
Iron Maiden's dethroning Ozzy. Oh, hallowed be thy name. That's such a tune.
Look at this album cover. It's the devil with a pitchfork. Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is why I couldn't listen to any of this when I was younger.
That album was so good. God bless.
But I was only like
2, 3
years old. Yeah. Hey, let's let our 3-year-old listen to this. Here, Mike. Play with that.
3's probably a little young.
Yeah.
3's probably a little
80. Do 82.
82 was Iron Maiden. 83 is going to be Bark at the Moon.
82.
Or there's going to be Dio, Last in Line.
Dio, Holy Diver. 83.
Okay.
I remember seeing that too and being like, "Oh my God, there's like a priest.
There's a priest
being whipped by the devil."
You know why, right? Like, because that's
because
we just talked about it earlier.
What we just talked about. They up to no good, and they knew.
Dio was way ahead of his time because this is super controversial 42 years ago. But he was saying he had a message in the artwork.
Yeah,
and do you know they got that picture live?
Live.
Yeah, they did the picture in real. They put the chains and the priest and all that in like a lake and took a
picture and then painted it.
Painted it. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Pretty cool.
Okay, do 84.
Oh god, that's a tough one. Rat, Round and Round.
Metallica,
Fade to Black.
Creeping Death.
Okay, that's fair.
You're doing good. 85.
85 was a tough one. Let's go with
now. Remember, in the pop world in 85, that's when they did.
That would have been Whitney Houston, no, she was 87.
No, that was Dionne Warwick. Came before Whitney Houston. At which they're related. Am I right? Is that right?
Coming up, I think I'll be able to get.
You remember 85? Let's stop on 85 for a second. I just watched the We Are the World documentary, and all of these people got together, and lo and behold, in the background that was singing on it is Dan Aykroyd. Do you remember Dan Aykroyd being on We Are the World, or is like it a Mandela effect that
I don't. You text me about that. I don't remember. It's got to be a Mandela effect.
It's said that Dan Aykroyd was in Hollywood, California. This was the night of like is it the AMAs, American Music Awards? That night's when they recorded it, but Dan Aykroyd was in town. He was looking for somebody to like handle his money, and he walked into a place like a managing firm, and they were like, "Hey, we've got a couple of clients going to sing on this thing tonight called We Are the World. Do you want to show up and sing on it?" And he's like, "I'm not a singer." And they were like, "We don't care. We just need to get bodies there," because they didn't actually know who was going to show up.
Right.
But all these stars did show up after the awards to do this, and it's a really good documentary. You should watch it. But when you hear Michael Jackson sing, like on those things, you're just like blown away at his voice. It's unbelievable.
He's so good.
So okay, anyway, Dan Aykroyd. That's got to be a Mandela effect because I don't remember him being on there. It's Dan. I would have remembered that. I'm a huge Ghostbusters fan. I was a kid.
Yeah, you would have been all.
I would have been all over that.
All right, 85.
85.
I think I got 85.
Okay.
I've got a few that I just got the artist and a few, but I've got a few. I've gotten a bunch.
You've gotten a bunch, actually.
I'm going to say 1985 was Motley Crue, Home, Sweet Home.
Okay.
Let's see.
See if I can get this a little bigger.
Yeah, where the audience can see. Let's see where we're at.
All right.
That's my guess. Motley Crue, Home. Oh, Exodus, Bonded by Blood. Oh, they're giving just metal. They're not giving any credence to like Motley Crue or somebody. All right, so I got to go just metal. Ooh, that makes it even harder. That makes it a little harder. 86 will be. Is that going to be Ozzy? No, it's going to be Metallica, Master of Puppets. Slayer, Rain and Blood.
Slayer, Rain and Blood.
Angel
of Death.
You got to say I love Angel of Death, but you have to say that Master of Puppets was the best song of that year. If you're metal, come on now, it's hard to be. 87.
Well, you don't want to say that around Slayer fans.
Oh, I know. 87 is going to be real hard. That's a really tough. 87 was not a lot of metal out. It was not a lot of like groundbreaking stuff that broke.
Would it be like an Ozzy?
No, he didn't have an album in 87. And Metallica didn't have an album in 87 outside of Garage Days Revisited, the 598 EP. Guns N' Roses didn't come out to the following year with their self-titled or with Appetite for Destruction. Slayer had just released a masterpiece. Metallica just released a masterpiece. Ozzy had just released a masterpiece. Man, 87's tough.
Let's scroll it.
I'm going to go maybe, shit. God, I want to make a guess though, Mike. I just can't even guess in 87.
Okay.
It's Death, Zombie Ritual.
Never heard of it.
Yeah, I love Death. They're a great band, but and that was off the Scream Bloody Gore album, which, but it's not. It wasn't a great year from because all the other ones
Yeah, all the
Judas
other-
Priest,
oh, yeah.
Sabbath, Maiden, Metallica. It's all been like these
Huge
bands, and then you had Death, which is obviously a more underground band.
Do you think they were probably touring too much to come up with an album that year because they had these huge album hits they were coming off of? So that year is just a year that they...
So for all the big bands, 85 and 86 were like monumental years.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, they were all on world tours. So 87, that's you remember. I mean, I've been able to get them pretty fast,
good
on the other years, but 87, I'm racking. 88, if they're saying Guns N' Roses is metal, then it's going to be Guns N' Roses. Welcome to the Jungle. If they're not going to quite put Guns N' Roses in that metal category because technically they are hard rock, it's going to be maybe Bathory, One Road to Azabe, Metallica, and Justice for All. I have to agree with that one.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I
Major.
gotta agree with that one. 89. 89. That was a year for some new thrash bands after the Big Four had really revolutionized it. You saw a bunch of that was a 85 to 89 was like the peak of thrash. 89 might have been Metal Church's year. I'll go Metal Church. Something on their self-titled.
Morbid
Angel. Okay. Chapel of Ghouls.
Bring us into the 90s, Ray.
Ooh. Well, we know if it was...
What year did the Black Album come out? 91?
1991. So
91.
You already know it. You got a name. You're gonna be great. I bet you're gonna be better at picking the 90s. 70s and 80s are more my wheelhouse.
I'm kind of a dummy.
Yeah, but
I also didn't get involved in this stuff till later. So like when I was like, Countdown to Extinction, like I didn't really get that until like 94. 93.
I'm glad you said that. Let's go Megadeth for 1990.
Okay.
Let's go Megadeth for 1990.
Oh, Rusted Peace.
I knew
got it.
I got it. Just
great album.
Just getting the band in a sea of a million bands is hard to do. Yeah. So, but getting I mean, you can pick any song you want off of there, right?
Oh yeah. What they gonna pick? Holy Wars.
Yeah.
Okay, so like let's look at 89, 90, 91 for me. 89, 90, 91. I was in the middle of moving from Virginia to the summer. We were moving in 90 to Spartanburg, and then all of a sudden it wasn't Spartanburg, it was Louisiana, so we like skipped. So all of this is kind of like for me, and we went back to Virginia a lot, and I'm like 11 in 1990, so like I don't really remember where I was living. I remember being in Washington D.C. and watching like Guns N' Roses and like all that stuff on MTV at my aunt's house in Washington D.C. She had this big screen TV that I never knew anybody that had a big screen TV before.
She's rich.
She must be rich. Yeah. So and she was, but living inside the Beltway. Or living in Springfield, maybe. I can't remember. Anyway, I was a kid, and we were going back and forth a lot, so I don't really know.
87 to 91, I was reading every metal magazine they made. I was making every bootleg tape I could make. I was the only kid in Lincoln Parish that I knew of that knew metal. Like, they knew metal as in like 88, 89, 90, 91. Everybody I knew, metal to them was like Guns N' Roses or Motley Crue or whatever's being fed to them. Like, nobody knew about Death or Megadeth or Morbid Angel or even Metallica until the Black Album, quite frankly.
Right.
And I was so geeked out on all this stuff. My whole wall was nothing but metal bands. I had every magazine. I read every article. I knew producers. I knew, like,
You were in it.
I was full on in it. So
91.
91's the Black Album.
The Black Album.
It's going to be.
That's it.
They're going to pick Enter Sandman.
Yep, Enter Sandman.
Yeah.
Exit Light.
Enter Night.
92.
92's coming up on the grunge, so they're not going to. They won't put grunge in there just out of spite because it's obviously just a metal, just a straight metal. What's considered metal article. So 92 is when grunge ushered in. Obviously, the best song of that year is "Smells Like Teen Spirit." Doesn't have to be the best, but I'm saying all the other songs are arguably not the best, but they were the most impactful and had the most cultural relevance of those years, 70 to 92. And 92 was Kurt Cobain's year.
Right.
But it won't be "Smells Like Teen Spirit" because of what it is.
When did Countdown come out, Megadeth?
92.
That's Countdown then. No. Oh, we
Vulgar
missed
Display.
it. We didn't think about the South.
I would have thought about that's the the 90 in '94 the Pantera was the first metal album to go the first real metal album to go #1.
Mouthful of war.
Yeah.
Like never before. Wow. Yeah.
That's
awesome.
That's a good pick. That's a good pick. That's
vulgar display of power.
That's a solid
That's
pick.
awesome.
The 90 now from this point on it gets tough for metal because this was really 93 to 99 was grunge into new metal, right? So this is when metal really took a back seat. And people really didn't respect metal, and people did. I mean, it was really became. It had about a 5-year run where it was king of the world.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, the underground stuff though nobody was really into that, especially like in the South. But by this time, I'm really the only person listening to metal, right? Like because it has completely fallen out of favor.
Here we go. 93. Give me your split. Give me your hot take.
God, I can't even remember. I can't even remember a metal album that came out in '93. It's like 80. It was like 85 for me. Typo negative. Black #1.
Yeah.
Yeah, and '94 is going to be Pantera.
Yep. Far Beyond
Driven, and there'll be I'm Broken. Yep, I'm Broken.
95.
95.
95
is going to be Ozzy Osbourne. Something off of Osmosis, maybe.
Death
again. Crystal Mountain. Death on the list.
I need to listen to some of that.
1,000%. You would. Yeah. Death is the godfathers of death metal. They invented it. They did it better than anyone, and it's not as Cookie Monster vocal as like your traditional death metal.
Yeah.
You can more understand what they're saying, but it's heavy as shit, and it's good.
96.
96.
Korn. Do you think they consider them?
I mean, their new metal, it would definitely be Korn Clown or something, right? 96.
Oh, Tool. Enema.
So they're
they're giving. Well, it is morphing into this.
Tool. Tool always got. I always call Tool metal. Like
they're my favorite band.
I know, but it's math metal or it's progressive metal, but like everything you do, whatever you put in front of.
I didn't think they'd be on this list.
Whatever you put in front, I was iffy, but they're way more likely to be on the list than like a Nirvana or because they wrote amazing albums.
What about God, I met their bass player in New Jersey. Ian. And
Anthrax.
What about Anthrax? They're thrash metal.
Yeah,
but would they be on this list?
No, because they existed in a time when you had Judas Priest, Iron Maiden, Megadeth, Metallica, Ozzy Osbourne at the height of their powers.
Yeah.
Like they had no shot.
They had no shot.
They were. Any bill Anthrax was doing, even when at Anthrax's apex.
Yeah.
They were the first band, and they were huge. They have 2 million albums, but Ozzy's got 130 million, and then the band under him is Megadeth, and the band under them is Judas Priest. So it's like Anthrax always would be low on those bills. But
97.
Korn again. Korn first.
Rammstein.
Oh, Du hast.
Du hast mich.
I guess I thought that was now after 97. I'm going to start and took
now 98 might be Korn if they put Rammstein on here. 98 was Follow the Leader, right?
I won't. Good,
Bam.
You got it. Good
got
job.
it.
See, you know more than you think. I knew you'd get one in the 90s instead of 70s or 80s.
Right. Yeah. 99.
99 was Slipknot debut.
Slipknot
debut.
Bam. You got it.
Yeah. Wait and Bleed. God, that song's 25 years old.
Oh my gosh.
And still a banger.
It's so awesome. All of those, I love all of their albums.
I think I'm gonna be okay. 01, if they put Tool in there, they might put Linkin Park in there. So Linkin Park in the end. Iron
Maiden, the
Wicker Man.
Mm-hmm. All right. Tool, 2001.
Lateralis. So 99 was Slipknot. 2000 was whom? Oh, Iron Maiden. Yep. And then
Tool.
2000. Man, yeah.
We're still going.
A lot of love for Tool, man. Tool's like universally respected, I think, right?
Yeah. I think they are now.
Yeah.
I don't think they were before. I think the thing with Tool was that if you listened to them in the 90s, you had no idea what they looked like. Unless you went to the concert.
But I mean, like
then even then, it was hard to see them.
If I was going to but I mean, I saw Tool at an Ozfest.
Oh, during the day.
No, as a headline. No, on the main stage with the big boys. But I'm saying, I mean, I think as the co-headliner, like right before Ozzy. But I'm saying nobody was not excited. And this was, the rest of the bands are like metal, Slipknot or shit like that, and or all the stuff that was popular. But nobody was upset to see Tool. Mm-hmm. Everybody was very excited about it, and it's a full metal crowd. It's not an alternative crowd, right? It's a metal crowd, right. And they were all excited about Tool. No, yeah, Tool, because the time when they were playing Ozfest was the late '90s. They were already like a big deal.
No, yeah,
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I think I saw them in '98.
I think after not Opiate. I think after their big '90s album.
They
with
were
Sober. I think after Sober, after that album, what was that album?
I mean, they
Inema.
Yeah,
that's when they just exploded. You doing all right over there?
Yeah, they were because if you're playing in the second slot at Ozfest, you're playing above probably 4 or 5 huge bands, like massive bands.
Oops.
And
Meshuggah gets 2002. The Godfathers of Gent.
Yeah. Okay, I go, and then Demu Borgia.
I do like Demu Burger.
Yeah.
Yummy.
It's not a Demu Burger story, but have I told you my Cradle of Filth story before?
No.
I've never told it on here. It's so funny, or it's funny to me. It may not be funny to anybody else, but whatever. So Cradle of Filth, I caught them at an Ozfest, and they're completely black metal, like this. They come out with the full
face paint,
corpse paint, all the shit. Well,
paint.
Their slot for where they were on the bill was like they played like 5th or 6th, so that puts you at about 1:00 in the afternoon, right?
Yeah, in full face paint,
pure daytime. The sun's out beaming. And they're in full face paint. And they're like just playing black metal, and I'm like, I love my buddy. I'm like this. I was like, I love this. I like Cradle of Filth, and I like black metal. I was like, this just doesn't play in the daytime. At 1:00 in the afternoon. Like
it looks like a couple of clowns.
I've seen at that time of day, I've seen like System of a Down, and I've seen Slipknot, and that totally plays at that time of day. But black metal, because they're trying to do all this evil stuff, right? Yeah. So it gets close to the end of their set, or at the end of the set, and he's like, "Thank you, we are Cradle of Filth. Good night." And of course, it's the middle of the day. The sun's beaming down, so everybody starts laughing. Like 10,000 people, like, it's just like, oh, that's a lot scarier when it's dark, Yeah. So everybody starts laughing at this dude who's trying to have this real serious evil moment.
Yeah.
So then he goes, "For it is always night in my black heart," and then everybody laughs harder. So he just had to shuffle off the stage in disgrace.
Maybe you didn't hear me. Yeah. It is always night in my black heart.
Actually, he said, "It is always night in my cold black heart."
Oh no.
And then I was like, oh, good save. And then it didn't save it. So his bandmates looking at him like, "You fucking goober."
Oh my God.
I know they had.
It has to go in the contract after that. Only at night we play.
And probably leading up to that point, they had only played theaters,
right?
Where you go on, where they're the headliner at 10 o'clock. They were playing. This is about 03, 04. So they were probably playing 1,500 seaters and down, maybe 2,000 seaters if they were all alone. Ozfest was the first major tour they got on. Of course, everybody's going to take the Ozfest.
Yeah,
but
during the day,
I mean, I would definitely take the in the day gig spot.
Oh yeah,
but just the.
Maybe they should have thought about it a little bit.
Trying to play the black metal at daytime.
Maybe just came out not in the face paint and the.
Well, if you're black metal, they wear that shit.
You gotta wear it.
They wear it all the time.
I don't know. Maybe they would have gotten more popular. They didn't.
Cradle of Filth got pretty good. Anyway, Demu Borgia.
What do you think? 2004. Sorry, I'm sick. I'm gross.
I'm gonna have to stop guessing now. We're just gonna have to go because I don't.
Kill Switch.
The End of Heartache. I love that song. I love Kill Switch. 05's going to be
Opeth.
I bet we're going to see System of a Down here in a minute, huh?
No, they would have been like in 2001 or
to 2008, right?
98. Well,
98.
When did Toxicity came out? In 2001?
Yeah. They're probably not going to even maybe give
Tool. Obviously, 10,000 Days.
I think the writer likes Tool and Sabbath.
I think so.
Every year,
I think he really likes Tool.
If
I really like Tool. I agree.
Me too. I have no problem with that pick.
The Dillinger Escape Plan.
Milk Lizard. I never got really big into them. That's one that I've listened to them, but I couldn't.
It said runner up is Machine Head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like Machine Head.
Meshuggah again.
They wrote some good. Meshuggah wrote some badass music.
They grandfathered in all the stuff that's happening in the last 15 years.
Mastodon. I loved that album. That first. Yeah, that was a great album.
I just watched an interview with their guitarist on the Beto channel. It was really good. He has his own guitar, and it was really cool looking too.
Ghost. Now, Ghost is an interesting. Have you ever seen Ghost or ever listened to Ghost?
Yeah.
They look way more evil than they sound. They sound like
if you saw them walking down the street fully get up and you'd be like, hey, what kind of I know what kind of music they play, and then you hear them, you're like, no,
that's different.
It's different. It hits different.
I saw them live though. I gotta say they're good live. They're fun. I saw them open for Iron Maiden.
It sounds a lot older than what they look.
Yeah, for sure.
Septic Flesh. Never heard of them.
2011 was a down year.
Runner up is Anthrax.
Hey, Anthrax did make the list.
Yeah, they did. The runner up on 2011. Gojira, yes,
sir.
Yes, sir. Gojira, 2012.
Gojira playing at the Olympics was amazing.
Ghost
2013. Year Zero. Yeah, this is where
Behemoth.
I know all these bands, but this one obviously I'm like 40 at this point. At the time
Slipknot is a runner up on 2014.
Oh, Father, oh Satan.
Ghost again. This guy likes Ghost.
Circa. I like Ghost. There's a lot
Iron
of Ghost
Maiden
haters.
runner up.
Iron Maiden runner up in
2015 for If Eternity Should Fail.
They put Eternity. If Eternity Should Fail is not as good a song as
Ghost Circle. Circe.
Nah, that's
I can't.
That's a strong disagreement for me. Loudwire. I'm gonna
more Ghost. Code Orange.
Because at this point, there's really not a lot of. If you go 2013 on, there
you go. Judas Priest.
Lightning Strike. Yeah, that's fair. 2018. That was their comeback album.
Rammstein.
No, I didn't even realize they had an album in 2019.
Spirit Box. Never heard of them. They got a cool album cover. Lorna Shore.
Yep. I can say this. From 1970 to 1993 was way cooler than from 1994 to 2020.
Way cooler. Way cooler. Arch Enemy.
Yeah, they're good.
Never listened. Oh, here we go. Sleep Token. The Summoning.
Well, that was the
2023.
2023 had like 7 metal albums released.
Yeah, Sleep Token is amazing.
Yeah, they're good.
They are amazing. Okay.
And then that's the last one, right?
And 2024, they're going to give it to
Gojira. Because
they killed it at the
Paris Olympics.
In the Paris Olympics. Okay, well,
I agree. From the 70 to 93 spot, that's when that was.
I'm gonna give it from 70 until Korn, and then after that, it's lost it.
Yeah,
lost it. And obviously, the Tools should be all in there, but I lost it.
I don't just think
totally.
I don't think it's just metal. I think almost every genre is like that.
I think so.
Like hip hop's not the same 2012 to 2025 as it was 1982 or let's say 1979 to.
Well, what happened to everybody having their own sound?
Yeah.
That doesn't happen anymore. I told you, all these bands I listen to now all have the same drum sound. They all have the same because they plug it into and this sounds like an old guy thing, but it's not. When I'm recording music, I could download this STL Tones thing and just be like, I want to sound like this guy, boink, and then it does the amp and the sound of every. You don't even have to. You can have a $200 guitar and I want to sound like Wes Borland, blink, and then you sound like Wes Borland. I want to sound like Meshuggah, blink, and you sound like Meshuggah. That's not how it's supposed to be to me.
I
It's
wanna
supposed
hear-
to be, you're supposed to get your 412 cabinet and buy your amp and then mic it up and come up with your own sound that sounds good. And it'll sound different than Meshuggah or them or whoever.
And you should be like, people should struggle to say who you sound like because you should sound like yourself.
Yourself. Yeah. But like all the bands that I listen to that I kind of stopped listening to because I'm writing my own stuff now, and if I listen to music, it'll end up in my music, and I don't want that.
Right.
But all of like these new like these metal bands, post metal bands, whatever. There's all these different genres for them, gent and all that. They all sound exactly the same. They just do things a little bit different here and there. But that's it.
But it's not.
It's
even
like,
that
this band adds a electronic vibe to it, and you're like, oh, yeah,
But it's the same
great.
kind of thing.
Same thing, guitars, same tones,
What
everything,
makes-
and they're all badasses. Don't get me wrong; they're all badasses on guitar and drums, right?
Yeah, but what makes?
But it just sounds the same to me.
But what makes bands legendary is the fact that Tool doesn't sound anything like
Like
Black
anyone.
Sabbath, and
Right.
Black Sabbath doesn't sound anything like Metallica. That's what makes just take those three entities. And Megadeth, even though playing thrash metal, doesn't sound anything like Metallica.
Well, it's like you said. When I say, oh, I really love Soundgarden, you're like, well, they copied off of Black Sabbath. It's like, yeah, they did. After I listened to a lot of Black Sabbath, listen to them, but they still sound like two different bands.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
they just borrowed.
They just borrowed,
And
They
that's
borrowed
what
it-
you should do. You should borrow and then expand on that. Not just do the same damn syncopated drum beat that everybody does and yell right before the song and then go into the song every time.
Yeah,
it
they
just
didn't-
so bothered with me.
They didn't copy it. They were just obviously influenced if you
Right.
understood it. But the influence is great. But they sounded like their own thing.
They took the thing where it says, great artists borrow, amazing artists steal.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's been a while. We'll get back after Christmas and do another one of these.
All right, yeah, you're heading out, aren't you?
Yeah.
For a week?
Yeah, something like that. All right.
We'll holler at y'all.
Bye.